talk to you briefly today about a quote I've seen a lot recently. Maybe you've seen it on social media, but it's a quote by a guy who says, "I've been thinking a lot about the person who takes three pieces of pizza because they are worried that they will run out, and the person who takes one piece for the same reason." Maybe you haven't seen that quote, but I was thinking about that as well, and I want to apply that a little bit of that for us today. But the idea is that one person greedily grabs what they can because they are afraid that there won't be enough, while the other person deliberately takes less in hopes that other people can have some to share as well. Anyway, I don't know if you've seen that, but I want you to think about that a little bit. We're going to dig in a little bit in a moment and give some spiritual background to that. I just wanted to jump on real quick here today. I ran across those few quotes, and I wanted to give us some spiritual emphasis. Been gone for a while. I was out of town for a few days, but I know that you really come for the jokes. So just a few today. I don't have a 4-year-old, so it's fictional. He says, told my 4-year-old that he had his shoes on the wrong feet. And he said, "I don't have any other feet." Fair enough. You can't fault a kid for that. I recently took a poll and found out that 100% of the people in the tent were angry when it collapsed. See, I set you up really good on that one. Anyway, so that the first quote that I told you, back to our main title for the day. Just like I said, just going to be brief today. The idea that a person takes three pieces of pizza because they are afraid that there won't be enough, versus the person who takes one piece in hopes that there will be enough for everyone else. Well, that kind of reminded me of another quote that I saw on social media, and I'm not sure if it's true or not. But it's the story of supposedly a reporter in Mariupol, which is in Ukraine. Supposedly a guy told this story to a reporter. The man says this: "I left the bomb shelter and saw a car with keys in the ignition near the store. I watched it for 2 hours, waited for the owner, and I didn't wait anymore. I took my family, got in the car, and I drove to Vinnytsia to visit relatives. I found a phone number in the glove compartment and called the owner. And he said to the owner, 'Sorry, I stole your car. I saved my family.' The owner's response of the car was, 'Thank God. Don't worry. I have 4 cars. I took my family out in my Jeep. The rest of the cars I filled with fuel and left in different places with the keys in the ignition and the phone number in the glove compartment.' He says, 'I received calls back from all cars. There will be peace. See you. Take care of yourself.'" I don't know whether that story is true or not, but it is inspiring that somebody would think about that. I love the generosity of this man, who was likely going to lose all 4 of his cars anyway, but he was thinking of others enough to fill up his other cars with gas to help save someone else. He was willing to sacrifice what he had in order to save others. When you realize that you may lose everything that you have, you may be more willing to let go of it, whether it's a piece of pizza or a car. That reminded me of a verse that actually appears in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. I want to read you the one from Matthew 16. It says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.'" Now, when Jesus says that, some people would say, well, the cost of following Jesus is too high. But then in the next verse, Jesus gives a reality check, and he says this: "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it." So that's the point I was going to make today. This guy in Ukraine realized he was going to lose his cars, so he decided to help someone else with it. And Jesus kind of brings us back to that same principle. You're going to lose your life anyway. Jesus says the only way that you can save it is by sacrificing it. He continues on in Matthew 16:26. Jesus says, "What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul?" So I wanted to close with 2 questions for you to think about today. Think about those 2 stories about the pizza and the guy sacrificing his cars in Ukraine. And I want to apply those to us in a spiritual way. The first question is this: knowing that you are going to lose your life eventually, you need to consider today what you are willing to sacrifice for eternal life. Because that's what Jesus has offered you. It's what he himself has sacrificed to give you. So that's the first question. What are you willing to sacrifice for that gift? The second question would be that if you have already accepted that gift of eternal life, what would you be willing to sacrifice to help someone else find that gift also? I just want to leave you with those two thoughts today. Hey, thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, share. Let me know that you're out there. Again, if you have questions, be more than willing to answer those. If you want to PM me or the New Horizons Fellowship, that'll be great. Until then, I hope to be back soon, and I look forward to seeing you again.